Okay, cool. Hi, I'm Raven. I'm an alcoholic. Um, if I'm at like 15 minutes, give me a fucking warning. Like you've had your time, woman, you know. Yeah. Hi, I'm Raven. I'm an alcoholic. Most of you guys know me. If you don't, that's me. I'm 47 years old. And this is my home group, and I'm having a lot of anxiety today. Um, Not every day in recovery is sunshine and rainbows and roses, and that's okay. Or at least I'm learning that that's okay. I have 15 months sober, which is goddamn fucking cool. And but part of being sober is that for me, is that after in the beginning, we just have to stay fucking sober. Like, just don't fucking drink, right? And then as we continue to stay sober, we have to face all the reasons that we drink or self-medicated. And some days I've got a handle on it, and other days we don't. And I've shared before, or like done these speaker meetings before, and I kind of like it when I don't have any warning. So anybody who's taking notes, just ask me the day before, or just ask me like 10 minutes before the meeting. Because today I was reminded that I was speaking tonight, and I was like, fuck yeah, I got this, no problem. And I'm driving around in my car, and I'm not busy. And so my head goes to, what are you going to say tonight? And I start going through my story in my head, starting from childhood and going up. And oh my gosh, 10, 20 minutes later, I'm just driving down the road crying because it feels like such a shit show. I'm totally nervous about trying to share my shit show with everybody else. Because, it's kind of a fucking bummer. But that's okay, I guess, or at least that's what they tell me, because all of it is part of what got me here. And even though I'm incredibly anxious, and even though today is rough, um, it's also pretty fucking awesome. I, like a lot of people in the rooms, grew up with alcoholic parents. Um, I learned at a very young age two things: that emotions and feelings and opinions are not good, and not safe to share. And I learned that alcohol fixes everything. So that's some great life lessons. Uh, I did not grow up in an abusive family per se, but it was a little neglectful. It was a lot neglectful. I don't really have resentments towards my parents for that. I think I have resentments, but not towards them specifically. Um, After the divorce, dad moved across the seas for work. Can't really fucking fault him for that. And mom was left to foot all the bills, so worked jobs, and can't really fault her for that. She tried like hell to have help with the bills, and in turn, I had four stepdads. Uh, None of them were abusive towards me. None of them were great husbands, and for the most part, they were gone pretty quickly. But I did have one that stayed around for quite a while and was an absolute asshole and a horrible person to my mother, but was an amazing fucking stepfather. And well, that contributed to a lot of my abandonment issues, because dad abandoned, and mom situationally abandoned. And then my longest running stepdad was literally there one day and gone the next. And so borderline personality disorder, super rad. Picked up that in childhood. At about 16, like most angsty teens, I decided that I did have feelings and emotions and opinions, and I wanted every fucking buddy to hear them. Yes. and I pierced my nose and got into a lot of trouble. And my mom said, "Hey, your dad's back from overseas. You're going to live with him." Okay, cool. So now mom's out of the way and I move in with dad, and he's just like, okay, here's a roof over your head, and was pretty absent parent. And but that was fine because I had a lot of time to run the streets and discover cocaine and acid. And those were really great at getting me out of my brain. Uh, After a while, my mom said, "Hey, I think you have a problem. Come back and live with me and go to rehab." Mom doesn't have enough insurance to put me into rehab, which actually turns out to be a really good thing because the rehab place she wanted to put me in has had a lot of problems with insurance scams and being very abusive to the kids who went there. And this is, I'm talking 30 years ago, and they are still in the news. So good job. Glad I dodged that bullet. But that did get me into my first NA rooms, NA in the 90s as a 17-year-old girl. That was quite the experience. And I stayed there for a while and stayed clean for a while, just enough to get through moving back in with mom and trying to work on that relationship. And cool, that didn't last long. And I moved out of my house halfway through senior year of high school, and just went into drinking and more drugs. And yay, but graduated high school, so that's good. Um, After my little stint with cocaine, after high school, I was driving around like most kids and drinking and partying. And here comes a nice little mirror of crystal meth, which I had never even heard of before. Never seen it, never heard of it, no clue. And my only introduction was it costs half the price of cocaine and lasts 4 times as long. Well, fuck yes, sign me up. That was great. Ended up getting pregnant and marrying my dealer. FYI, 0 out of 10, do not fucking recommend. Thankfully, when I was pregnant, I was able to quit crystal meth. And I'm not a person, I won't say that I was able to quit because I was pregnant, because that's just not true. And I think that illusion ends up shaming people women who get pregnant and aren't able to quit, because addiction is a bitch. I was lucky enough to get into a situation where I could move towns, and move 8 hours away from anyone that I knew in that circle. That helped me stay clean. But I'm still married to my dealer, still married to an abusive, horrible asshole. And that child was born at 24 weeks gestation, which had nothing to do with my drug use, thank goodness. I just have an incompetent cervix. He lived for 8 months and then passed in the hospital. He never came home. And I have quite a bit of peace with it. I told you, like, I'm not trying to have a pity party. I'm trying to, I don't know what I'm fucking trying to do anyways. And I have a hard time telling that story to people because it gives them the feels. And so I apologize for that, but it is a part of my story, and it is a part of unprocessed trauma and grief that I have that led to who I am today. After a while, after Camden passed, he decided that he wanted to get back into drugs, and I did not want to. Yay, smart girl. So I tried to leave him. He did not like that story, and I was able to get away from that relationship by putting him in jail for 20 years on kidnapping, sexual assault, and 2 counts of attempted murder. So rack up another trauma that I'm not really good at processing, even though it was a very long time ago. After that relationship, I'm now 21 years old, and finally legally allowed to drink, but have no idea how to do anything responsibly. And I mean, I didn't know how to go grocery shopping because my first husband controlled the grocery shopping. And I didn't know how to talk to people or make friends because he controlled all that. I didn't know how to relate to people, but I could get myself to a bar and then relate to people and self-medicate. And it worked for a while. And I thought I was doing good and said, all right, well, let's try this marriage thing again. And I did a really fucking good job picking a guy with a really good job and the white picket fence. And I have trouble having kids. And he had a 2-year-old, amazing, amazing, beautiful child and a Rottweiler. And I love Rottweilers. And he didn't hit me. There's a lot of other abuse there, but I just thought I was fucking winning because he actually had a real job and wasn't a drug dealer. Actually, he was a pot dealer and grower, but it wasn't meth, you know? So again, we're getting better one step at a time. And I spent 9 years in that relationship and lost 3 more pregnancies and was miserable and was drinking in the closet, like literally in the closet, drinking constantly, and engaging in lots of borderline personality disorder behaviors that aren't healthy. So much so that he was the one who actually asked me for a divorce, which I'm so thankful for, because I don't know that I would have ever had the strength to leave him. I would have died in that closet. That's good. I actually did a really good job after that one of picking myself up and going back to school and finding a job that I loved more than anything. I was a certified nurse aide in long-term care and got to work with old people and got to be a part of their lives and got to spend time with them and take care of their the daily minutes of their lives with dignity and honor and respect. But it's backbreaking work, quite literally. And I knew that I couldn't do that forever, even though it was the most rewarding job I've ever had. So I said, let's go to nursing school. In my mid-30s, I'm the oldest person doing my job. It's all these young girls who are just badass young bitches. And they're and I'm the old lady and my body is falling apart. Let's go to nursing school to be a geriatric nurse because I want to continue working with the elderly community. And so I was doing my pre-nursing degree, and 2 classes shy of my pre-nursing degree, I broke my back. And it took me so long to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. And I was made for that. I was just made for that. And it was gone. And I didn't realize until I was a few months in the room. Jeff one night was talking about grief, and every time grief comes up in the rooms, we talk about losing people. And I don't even remember what he said, but somehow that night, I realized that I was grieving over that job and that career. And it was just so much more than a job and a career. It was after every fucking shit thing that I had been through, I finally found the thing that was fixing everything. That was my direction, and that was gone. And thankfully, my husband and I, 3rd time's a charm, right? And he's known me since I was 16. So he actually knows a lot of my traumas. He knows a lot of my shit. And he was like, sign me up, you know, like I can get on this crazy train. And especially when I'm working 2 jobs and going to school full time and having, and because I was so high functioning, I was drinking 2 drinks every night, which is like nothing, right? Like that's their standard. That's not an alcohol problem. That's just what you do, right? You just have 2 drinks every night and then more on the weekends or whatever your weekend is, you know. After so I've got all these traumas, and now I'm disabled and in chronic pain. Well, like I didn't already have 10 reasons to drink or to self-medicate. And now you have no job and no future and are in pain. So yeah, my drinking definitely ramped up. And continued to ramp up. And even though I tried multiple times to moderate and stuff, the pandemic hits, and then it's like, well, there's absolutely nothing else you can do anyways. You might as well stay at home and drink yourself to death. With my back injury, I will wrap it up, but you're going to give me just a few more minutes because fucking deal with it. After the back injury, I got a huge chunk of money, or at least for me, $68,000. And my rock bottom was realizing I had drank probably about $40,000 away. And then I was drinking in bed for days at a time and would take a shot, puke in a cup, set the cup on the edge of the bed and take another shot. That's pretty fucking disgusting. And I was desperate. I kind of hate all the acronyms for God and hope and halt and blah, blah, blah. Yet they sink in. The gift of desperation got me into these rooms. Thank goodness. And a group of fucking drunks kept me in these rooms and have kept me in this room for 15 months now. And I'm so fucking thankful for it. This particular group of drunks is pretty fucking awesome. If you haven't guessed it, this is my home group. They listen to me cry all the fucking time, and they laugh at my shitty jokes, mostly self-deprecating, and that's okay. And I'm just really fucking glad to be here. And I think that's it. I love you guys.